Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome to you. Welcome back to the competitive racing series. It's finally happening. The next season is upon us. Season 4 is at long last starting. We've done the qualifying nights for all three divisions, and tonight we kick off with PC tier here in Great Britain. My name is Frostbreath, and I'll be once again your commentator for this series. This epic season, and I'm sure the drivers are going to deliver pretty much all throughout this season. And starting tonight here in Silverstone, it's going to be quite the banger. The 10 teams that have qualified are CPI, ZNT, FVR, TTM, NLR, TF10, ABS, ET8, TGF, and EVE. And I believe all 10 of them are going to be present tonight. There's currently 18 drivers in, so we're almost complete and good to go. Let me have a little look at which drivers are going to be driving for which team. Starting off with the team on top of this list. I don't think it was the fastest team in qualifying. I believe that was FVR. Or actually, it was CPI, I believe. Nonetheless, for CPI, we've got Isaac Leet and Elephant driving for the team in the... let me have a look in the lobby for the McLaren car. Then, for the team of ZNT driving in the Ferrari, we've got Jimmy Menard and Jeremy Gallagnier. We've got the FVR team, which we've got Benny Fabos, and also, let me have a look on this fancy list, Gabriel Quintino. Very familiar names indeed. TTM, then, up next. For them, we've got Pascal Sangbail and Lighty driving in the Williams car. For FVR, by the way, it was Mercedes. NLR. Also present once again, defending their title this season. Not the fastest in qualifying, so it could be an interesting title fight. We've got Ivan Santamaria, once again driving for the team, alongside Maxim Rusavishkish. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Rusovsky. Going to go with Rusovsky for the Aston Martin team. That's what NLR is driving for. TF10. We've... got this team on the grid as well this season. They've got Ryan Grubb and Lucas Beisner tonight. Then up next, we've got ABS, another very familiar name in this series. Tonight, driving with Hugo von Bon and Gabriel Petresi. They are driving with, let's see, the RB car. Then for TGF, we have the following drivers. It's Christian Lyubanov, and Gino, I believe, has been replaced. Yes, he's been replaced by one of the reserve drivers. Blackberry will be representing their team. EVE then with Ricardo Kroner and Jivodar Ivanov. And last but certainly not least, ET8 with Istvan Tamashi and Mark Schluter. Looks like that's a full grid. The lobby is full as well, so we should be starting very, very soon indeed. Let's have a little look at the calendar. There it is. It's the first race of the season in Great Britain, and next week we'll be heading to Italy, Monza, followed by Saudi Arabia, and then Azerbaijan, a mystery GP, and the Netherlands. That is the first half of this season. So for the next 6 races, we should all be good and well covered. Very curious, of course, to find out which GP is going to be the mystery one. There's 2 mystery GPs this season, by the way. The next one being in the 10th race. So every 5 races, we'll be having a mysterious track. Nobody knows which one's going to be. I believe last season it was a manager vote. So all the team managers were able to put in a vote for the track they wanted to go with. And the one with the most votes would be the one to go with. Last season it was Monaco. Who knows which 2 tracks it's going to be this time round. We're just waiting for the go. As I said, the lobby is full, so I believe it should be happening any second now. Let's see in the Discord if there's anybody still present. Ace warning drivers that he doesn't want to disqualify people for not joining Grid Finder. Looks like everybody should be safe, and he's now also giving us the go. So that means it's going to get underway any second. Interesting fact about this series is that collisions are going to be on during qualifying. So that means giving each other a tow is definitely possible. And of course, since this is a team event, the teamwork makes the dream work, especially now that they can use slipstream of one another. I think you'll be seeing a lot of teams working together to give each other the quickest lap time possible. Maybe prioritizing one driver over the other. Could be very well be the driver who's quickest of the two getting the slipstream from the other one. And I'm sure they know each other well enough to find out who is the quickest out of the two. Looks like the lobby is readying up right now. So we should be on our way very soon. For the short qualifying, 18 minutes, 26 laps coming up after that. I'm also fascinated to see that very few people are currently readying up, even though several drivers have said it's good to go. Maybe it helps if we say ready up, folks. Maybe that will do the trick. Make sure to spread the word, by the way, about the competitive speed series. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. The prize pot this season, let me have a little good at the prize pool. It's going to be a €300 prize pool, I believe, throughout all the season, with first place getting €125 alongside a €60 gift card for the Sim Racing Center. Second place will be getting €85, followed by fourth 25, and fifth place will be getting €15. So instead of only the top three, we'll be seeing the top five getting prizes. For the drivers, there's also a little prize. The fastest driver, or actually the driver the most points this season, will be getting an SRC gift card worthy of €30. Which also brings me to mention our sponsors, of course, Grid Finder and Sim Racing Center, once again being the sponsors of this season. You can see the screen right here, right now. For a moment there, I thought my headset turned itself off. It actually did. I'm not sure why. Probably because there was too little sound going on. Anyway, we're just waiting for a few drivers, their PC, to get ready, and then we should be on our way. Isaac Leet, Gabriel Patrese, and Elephant. Frankly, they're missing their team tags, and I believe that can be penalized. So let's hope it's just a glitch from my side. Otherwise, those guys might be in trouble already, and putting their teams in trouble too. Let's give you our track map. Let's give you the lap data so you can see how quick everybody's going. 20 drivers. It's always good to see a full grid for the first race of the season. That's very promising. That means everybody is rearing to go, very active. Let's see. Elephant and Isaac Leet for the CPI team. Elephant then without a CPI tag. Fortunately, we can actually use the real live F1 cars once again. As you all know, we used the world cars for qualifying, as did many other leagues until last week, or maybe even 2 weeks ago, when they decided that the actual F1 cars are equal enough, or maybe even fully equal now, to be used in all league and team events. And therefore the first two coming out are the Red Bulls of TF10. Ryan Grob and Lucas Beisner, the first out there to do a reconnaissance lap, heating up their tires as they head through turn 5. They're right behind one another, not surprisingly, as opposed to the Williams car of Lighty TTM there, coming out all on its own. Same goes for the Aston Martin of Ivan Santamaria, slotting in behind the Williams, followed by a McLaren and a Mercedes. Looks like Elephant and Benny Fabus are heading out early as well. Everybody is getting ready for their first proper hot lap. See what they can do. As now the cars will be getting shuffled properly. So some pretty powerful performances in qualifying night. But then again, that is only qualifying pace. And race pace is an entirely different beast, as we all know. Especially on this game. It can be very different indeed. And it can also be very difficult for the man starting on pole position to get away from the rest, even when their qualifying is pretty dominant. I've experienced this firsthand many times, not starting from pole, but starting from second. Even when I was more 8 tenths slower, I was still within a shot of winning the race. And whether that's a good or a bad thing, it's entirely up to you. I also see that OBS is dropping some frames through the network, so if there is a little bit of stuttering going on, I do apologize. But at least you'll be able to enjoy a 1440p stream with 60 frames per second, all fanciness, the ray tracing on full, so all should be well right here. And you can see both Red Bulls on their way right now. Lucas Beisner is very close to Ryan Grob. And let's see which of these two drivers is going to give the toe to one another, or whether they're going to be doing a hot lap together. Looks like Ryan Grob is holding back a little bit. It seems he's closing in, especially through the corners, to Lucas Beisner. Look at this. He appears to be quite a lot quicker. So at least he's getting towed along. So I really wonder how this will affect his lap, as he's quicker on the straights as well as quicker on the corner entry at least, and then he has to hold back a little bit. They might swap around. We can also see the Williams team now together. Interestingly, Pascal Sankbeil has come out a lap later to tow Lighty along. He lets him through as they approach turns 11 through 13. Maggots and Beckett. And Ryan Grob is gonna get led past by Lucas Beisner. So Lucas Beisner sacrificed his first attempt right here to charge the battery, then immediately give chase on his own teammate. We've got a yellow flag for a slow-going Aston Martin, so no big incidents just yet. And Ryan Grob across the line, 25.3, with Lucas Beisner slotting in behind with a 28.2. Of course, that is not a proper hot lap at all. And I think he's going to use his own teammate now. Vice versa, to make sure he gets an optimal lap time as well. For now, the Ryan Grob doesn't seem to be slowing down just yet. Lighty is slotted in a second place, 25.7. He's been right behind his teammate all lap as well. He's using as much of that toe as possible. And there you go, Pascal Sankbeil on his way. You can see him right here. I believe next across the line is one of the Saubers. It's actually Ricardo Kroner, who hasn't been able to put a lap time in yet. I believe he actually started one right there. And there we have it. Jimmy Menard and Jeremy Gallonier slotting in second and fourth for ZNT. They were very quick on qualifying night as well, and many drivers are now putting in their lap times. We're watching Istvan Tamashi right here, who is just ahead of his teammate Mark Schluter. Both are driving in the Haas car this season. Ryan Grob still fastest overall. Jeremy Menard in second place, just over 0.3 of a second back. So Ryan is really on it tonight. And Istvan Tamashi is heading back in. So we're watching Mark Schluter then coming across the line. Joining in P8 with a 26.0. It's not too shabby. I can also see a little bit of a pole going on. It's been folded in. So I can't see what the question was. I believe which team is going to be in pole position is the question. And it was between CPI and at least one other team. I couldn't see which ones. But speaking of CPI, we can see one driver in 10th. And the other driver is sitting in last because he hasn't been able to set a proper lap time. 38.3, of course, nowhere near what they should be doing. Blackberry on his way through Maggots, Beckett's, one of the Mercedes there moving out of the way. You can see their collisions are on. Don't forget, towing therefore is perfectly allowed. Let's see what he can do for the team. His teammate currently sitting in 14th, Christian Lubinov, who made a mistake during qualifying night, spun out the car in turn 1. Let's hope that TGF will be able to put up some of the pace. There goes Blackberry. He goes slightly faster than Christian and sits therefore only in 14th. Not a big deal though in terms of points, at least, because the top 15 does get points, remember, in this series, with the first position getting 35 as Jivedar slots his car into 16th position for EVE. So after the first battles have been fought here in qualifying, Istvan Tamashi and Ivan Santamaria without a lap. Ivan has already decided to come back out. He's the first to do so for the second attempt. Let's follow him around a little bit. As it stands then, right now, Ryan Grob for TF10, fastest overall, followed by Jimmy Menard and Gabriel Quintino in 3rd place. Lighty then up to 4th, and another ZNT driver in 5th place, with the 2nd TTM driver in P6 for Pascal Sankbeil. He's going 6th fastest with a 25.8, just over half a second slower than Ryan. Ryan so far though has really put in a blistering lap time compared to the rest. I wonder if we can see the 1 minute 24s somewhere by the end of this session. I don't think it's impossible, although the track being very cloudy could change the track temperatures and therefore potentially make it a little bit slower. We're following Ivan Santamaria for NLR, the title defender, sitting in 11th and last. Of course, Ivan without a lap time, therefore sitting in that last position. No, it's short qualifying, Ethan. Also, welcome to the stream. So therefore only 18 minutes to put in a fast lap time. So then, Ivan starting the hot lap. Let's join him on board as he approaches turn 1. Should be simply flat out in 7th gear, otherwise you will lose some speed if you go into gear 8. And the gear 6 is simply too low. Then approaching turn 3. Nice and easy does it, heading to turn 4. And then onwards to the 2nd big straight. This one with DRS, of course. Coming out nice and easy, not on the curbs. There's the other Aston Martin just ahead. I think he's going to help him out. And of course is Maxime Ryzovitsky. I really got to learn that name from the top of my head to make sure not to mess it up, unless I'm already messing it up, of course. Looks like Maxime is going to help Ivan out here. We can all see on the minimap both McLarens very close together. They're still on their out laps. One of them is going to sacrifice the lap for the other. I think this time Isaac is helping Elephant out, because Elephant, of course, obviously helped out Isaac lead in the first attempt. This lap time shows it. Here we go then, a nice toe. Backing up quickly because the McLarens are going very slow indeed. They let past both Aston Martins. And that means Maxime is going to follow Ivan through. So both of them can benefit from the tow at the same time. Across the line then, Ivan Santamaria, where is he going to go? P6. That's a whole lot better for NLR, the title defenders this season. Let's see if they can defend it successfully, because there's many new teams in this series this time round. And they have all put up their game quite a lot. So can the veterans do it? There we go. Now it's suddenly a front row for TF10 with Lucas Beisner going quickest overall. And doing that all on his own, I believe, because Ryan Grob is sitting in the pit lane. Unless I've missed him coming in. It's a very impressive lap indeed. So let's see how the ZNT cars are doing. Jimmy Menard right behind Jeremy Gallagnier. It's quite busy out on track. You can see one of the Alpines there going slow. It's very crowded right here. You could see there Jeremy Gallagnier having a little bit of a moment. I'm not sure if he's actually on a hot lap or if he's just towing Jimmy Menard along. One of the Saubers there moving out of the way. Nice and easy does it. Let's also have a little look at Isaac Lead and Elephant. You can see here Elephant, I believe, is once again towing Isaac Lead. But Elephant himself needs to put in a lap time as well. There goes Isaac Lead past. I wonder when Elephant is going to get his opportunity. Maybe this lap. But he might have used up his tires already. Looks like Elephant is staying out. And therefore Isaac Lead crossing the line. Going 5th fastest. 25.5. But nobody else has been able to properly touch Ryan and Lucas's time. Only Lighty coming a little bit closer. With a 25.4. He's already done that lap. Now let's quickly switch to Jimmy Menard. Let Jeremy Gallagnier. Jimmy Menard staying 5th fastest. Jeremy Gallagnier in 7th. Isaac Lead right in between the ZNT cars right now. And CPI not as expected on the front row at the moment. And Elephant sitting in 19th with only a 27.1. I believe right now he sacrificed his lap time twice. So let's hope this one is going to be a proper one. I hope for his sake that a 27.1 is not the proper pace for him. Istvan Tamashi still in the pit lane without a lap time. And trying to find somebody who's still in a proper hot lap. Here's Ricardo Kroner for EVE. One of the Malarians almost has come to a standstill. The other one going off track to let the Sauber past. Looks like not only qualifying pace is important here, but track position and managing your drivers as well to make sure they do not get in other drivers' way, because you can't go straight through them with collisions being on. Ricardo making sure to make the most of the tow being given by one of the Ferraris on the inside. But I'm not sure if Ricardo is going to complete this lap. His battery light was flashing. He is going to complete it. His battery light flashing, of course, meaning his battery is recharging. Not that his battery is low, but he does go to a 25.9, 14th. Hugo von Bon, first sector, about a 10th quicker. For ABS, his teammate Gabriel Petresi sitting in 11th. So Hugo's got some time to find. Second sector, 1.5 tenths quicker pretty much, but that will not give him an additional position. He's almost 4 tenths slower than Ricardo. He needs to find more time. Can he do it? He needs to find half a second preferably. That will put him well up the order, all the way up until P9. Let's hope for his sake he can find it here. No, we can't. He actually lost a little bit of time in the final sector, stays 15th fastest. ABS somewhat on the back foot-ish, and with a potential penalty coming in for Gabriel for not having their team tag on. It's definitely spelling some trouble for the team, the veterans. ABS versus the other veteran of NLR. Ryan Grob once again showing in the chat that Slipstream is allowed to be used. And of course, why wouldn't you allow it? Because if it's on, and this is a team event, why wouldn't you use it? You can see it here with the Alpine cars. Christian Lubinov and Blackberry. With Blackberry in front, Christian Lubinov in the back. But TGF not looking very strong at the moment. 16th and 18th. Together with EVE, at the moment at least, one of the weaker teams in terms of qualifying pace. CPI is a mixed bag tonight. With the poll completing, and the question was who will score more points tonight between ZNT and CPI. Now with ZNT being 5th and 7th and CPI being 6th and 19th. I'm surprised the poll was actually somewhat close. But you never know, maybe race pace is going to be an entirely different beast for Elephant. No pun intended, by the way. Of course, we shouldn't also forget the fact that the weather might play a role in the race. Maybe Elephant has prepared his car for the rain. Although Parc Fermé is off. So even if there is rain, they will still use their qualifying setups for this session. Their dry qualifying setups. First car out on track for the final attempt. With 2.5 minutes remaining. Time is starting to run out. Maxime Ruzeveshki. Previously it was Ivan Santamaria, first one out on track. This time Maxime. Let's see what he can do. 12th fastest, only 2 positions behind Ivan Santamaria, and it's about half a tenth separating the both of them. So at least they're close together. That could work out well for the race. We can see Ivan Santamaria heading out right now. And it's quite late. But he still thinks it's on time. With the yellow flag in Sector 1, I can't see how much time is remaining, but I'm certain it's much less than 2 minutes. Maxime, therefore, now starting the hot lap. 25.919 to beat for himself. One of the Saubers, oh, nearly getting in the way there. Just coming out of the pit lane. Thankfully, that went well from our camera angle. It looked very dramatic indeed. We also see that Lighty has started his final hot lap. His teammate a bit further back. Both of them decide to go alone. And there's one of the Alpine drivers for TGF. Happily towing along. Looks like, though, Lighty is actually going to wait. He is. He thinks third fastest is good enough with 1 minute remaining. He'll not be back in time if he remains at this speed. Could still do it, though. If he gives Pascal Sangbail a slight tow, backs off, and then quickly follows him through. 50 seconds-ish remaining for them. Let's switch back to Maxime. There he is. On to the last straight. 17 milliseconds quicker. Now he's getting the toe from Ivan Santamaria. Excellent teamwork for NLR. Can they start their title charge in style? They'll have to find a lot more time than 17 milliseconds, especially Maxime. If he wants to get close to the front row. Almost everybody has started their hot lap right now. There's very little time remaining. He goes across the line. He doesn't improve. He's actually half a second slower. Something must have happened in the final sector. It wasn't good enough, that's for sure. So then, we're watching the battle happening between TF10, TTM, FER, ZNT, potentially CPI with Isaac Leet. Lighty has decided to end his qualifying here. Pascal Sankbeil, I believe, has crossed the line. Or maybe he's just started his hot lap. I believe he's just finished it. Gabriel Cantino has started as well. The flag has fallen, I think. It doesn't show them for some. Oh, Lucas Beisner taking the pit entry pole with him in frustration. His lap was invalidated. So that means Ryan Grob has got it all to do. Can he go faster than his teammate? Yes, he can, but quite the margin. 25.1. Were they sandbagging then in qualifying night? TF10 occupies the front row, at least for the time being. Gabriel Quintino for FVR, towing along. Benny Fabus. What will they do when they come across the line? Can they get close to pole position? They can! FVR pulls up their game, goes second and fourth, splits the TF10 cars. Second and fourth fastest. Lucas Beisner will have to take P3 as the best position he can take. It looks like Pascal is not going for a hot lap. Oh, Jeremy Gallagnier is invalidated there. Jimmy Menard is in the pit lane. ZNT only 8th and 11th, if they're lucky. It looks like nobody else is improving anymore. Christian Lubinov, no, has come in as well. Maxime, of course, has already done his lap. Wasn't good enough. Stays 14th fastest. Ivan hasn't been able to improve by a lot. He's gone 2/10 quicker now than his teammate, but stays 10th fastest. So then, that means Ryan Grob for TF10 takes pole position for the first event in Silverstone, followed by Benny Fabos in second place, Lucas Beisner in third, Gabriel Cantino completing the second row in fourth position. So for now at least, it looks like it could be TF10 versus FVR for the race win, because both teams are fully represented in the top 5. Then there's TTM not too far behind, with Lighty and Pascal in 5th and 7th. At least they're close together. They could work well to bring something interesting to the front of the field. Make it a 3-team battle. ET8 have got Mark Schluter in 6th position, but Istvan Tamashi has not been able to set a lap time at all. He stays in last and he will have a difficult time helping out his teammate. I'm not sure what happened with Istvan. I do know he's been struggling in another league I've been commentating on. So let's hope he'll be able to find his groove tonight. He'll need it, that's for sure. Once again, your qualifying results. Let me also screenshot it just in case with the top 4 I already mentioned. Lighting in 5th, then Mark Schluter in 6th, Pascal Sankbeil P7, Jimmy Menard in P8, Isaac Leet P9, and Ivan Santamaria completing the top 10. Then, of course, the surprising name, I'd say, is Jeremy Gallagnier only in 11th, and Elephant for CPI in 19th. Didn't have enough time to make a picture of the second half. Oh my goodness me! It's absolutely pouring down. There is so much rain. Of course, it's Britain, so it's not surprising. It would also not be surprising in the Netherlands, believe me. Unless it's August, which it is right now. Which it can be surprisingly hot. So then, full-on rain, and I think this is going to be full wet tires. Now, we do not know, or at least I do not know, what the weather is going to do for the rest of the race. It might just become a little bit more dry throughout the race. Don't diss England, mate. Your weather is quality. I'll take your word on that one. So, full wet conditions, as I said. Let's see whether the weather is going to clear up or not. Yep. Ace saying rightfully so, average UK summer. Believe me, this could also be an average Dutch summer if we are unlucky, very unlucky. So don't worry, I'm dissing my own country as well. Let's see what the drivers are going to do. Are they going to go with a wet race setup, or are they going to go with semi-wet, maybe a dry one? Depends on how long it's going to rain. But if it starts on full wet, it will at least take a little while for it to dry up completely. Of course, we'll see the intermediate tires if it decides to drive a bit more. Maybe a bit earlier than that. There will be some daring drivers choosing the green ones instead of the blues. Let's see who is going to dare it from the start. I doubt anyone is going to. You want the most grip from there. So the full wet ones, I think, is going to be the way to go. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate it. Just waiting for the drivers to ready up. Thinking hard, otherwise we would have started already. Looks like then it's quite a discussion which setup is proper. Full wet, semi-wet, or dry. Personally, I only have dry setups, even when it's full wet. It's quite a slippery experience, I have to say. Already people in Discord saying this will be fun to watch. Tatsuyaki for the ZNT team. And don't forget, the rain is the great equalizer, so maybe some other team is going to shine. Right now we've got TF10 and FVR at the front of the field. TTM not too far behind either. CPI and ET8 with one driver, somewhat in the mix. ZNT slightly on the back foot. So let's see. Maybe you can pull up a poll. Who's going to take the win? We've already got up a poll who will score more points, ZNT or CPI. But judging by the qualifying performance of both teams, that one is slightly less relevant. I'd say between FVR and TF10 would be an interesting one. Hi Felix, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Hope you're going to enjoy the race. I can see the viewer count slowly increasing as the race approaches closer and closer. 26 laps, don't forget. It's with this weather, it's really going to be a good one. Literally a zero stop as well, says Ryan Grob. So that means we'll be getting full wet conditions throughout the entire race. He says it couldn't be more boring. Well, I think that's going to be the case for the drivers. I'm almost sure it's not going to be the case for all of us. Me as a commentator and you as the viewers. Here we go then. The lights are going to go on for the first round of this series. 5 lights are on and 5 lights go off right there. It's a slightly tentative start for most of the drivers. It looks like Ryan Grob comes away well. Lucas Beisner immediately jumps Gabriel Quintino and Benny Fabos as TF10 reoccupy first and second. Gabriel Quintino, Benny Fabos in third and fourth. Many drivers going side by side there through turn 3. It looks like Gabriel Quintino has to go through the very much outside of the track, nearly leaving it, but there goes Lighty. TTM is definitely going to get into the mix here. The top 6 now compare with 3 different teams. Jimmy Menard got a flyer from the line as well. Now up to 7th place. Isaac Lead has lost something. Now down to 8th. We've already got a yellow flag with Jivodar getting off the track on the straight right there, falling down far behind the field. We've got some battling going on as we go through the corner right here. This is turn 7 as you can see. Lighty versus Gabriel Quintino. Can Lighty hold on? It looks like he can. And he takes now 3rd position. Gabriel and Benny have been demoted by the single TTM driver there on the Williams. But it looks like Lighty goes a little bit wide and Gabriel Quintino almost takes back 3rd position. They're still going side by side through Beckers and Meckers. Lighty decides to back off and wisely so. Because in these circumstances it's even more trickier to stay side by side without having a simply hideous accident. So then, aside from one incident with Jivodar, and I do not know who else it's going to be. Looks like I'm going to have to pull up the tire thingy right here, because everybody started on the intermediates actually, not on the full wets. It's not rating hard enough. And you saw the strategy graphic for a moment there. Either a 1-stop or a 0-stop. Ryan's think it's going to be a non-stop race. Literally. The Elephant headed into the pit lane. He might have then collided with Givodar. Givodar continues on though. We saw Hugo von Bonn and Mark Schluter having a little battle in between themselves for the spot in the top 10. But don't forget the top 15 hands out points. So Maxim Rusovishki is the last driver to get a point. A single point there for 15th place. There's some fighting going on right now. Mark Schluter is back ahead of Hugo von Bonn. Is now fighting with Isaac Lead for a position we see a little bit ahead. Gabriel Patrese fighting with Jimmy Menard for 7th place. He goes on the inside into turn 6. Can he keep it there? Yes, he can. The Ferrari demoted back to where he started. Jeremy Gallonier's lost positions as well, down to 13th. ZNT not off to the best start. It's only the first start this season, but I'm sure they wanted better than this. And it looks like they are not very happy with the conditions tonight. Ryan Gropp slowly driving away from Lucas Beisner. There's no DRS, of course, in these circumstances. So it means it's all coming down to race pace and timing your ERS quite well to make sure you keep up with the rest. But of course, Lucas is not going to attack his own teammate, because a 1-2 for the team is the perfect start, the dream start. And FVR has only got one car now in the top 4, with Gabriel Quintino trying to stay ahead of Lighty. Benny Fabos is in between both TTM cars as Pascal Sangbal tries to close the gap. Gabriel Patrese is a little further back than that, about a second behind Pascal. And Jimmy Bernard is following suit. Hugo von Bonn really close to Isaac Lead, as you can see right here. It's also Jeremy Gallonier on the charge against Ivan Santamaria, who's currently in 12th position, allowing us to have a little look at the position changes. Gabriel Patrese's got a brilliant start. He's pulling away more and more now from Jimmy Menard. He finds himself in 7th place, closing the gap slowly but surely to Pascal Sangbile to enter the top 6. Of course, ABS needs this to make sure they can start their title fight well. At the moment, looks like ABS on average is doing much better than NLR. The title defenders are very much on the back foot, 12th and 15th only. Looks like at least tonight, starting off their title defense is going to be a big one. A struggle. Whoa, Hugo von Bonn and Isaac Lead. I thought for a moment they were going to push each other off the track, but there was more asphalt available than I thought there. On the camera angle, it looked like they were almost at the edge of the track, but they weren't. Hugo von Bonn once again up into 10th place. He's trying to follow his teammate, who is about 2.5 seconds up the road. 3 laps in as it stands. Ryan Gropp is absolutely dominating the field. He's 1.5 seconds clear of his own teammate. Lucas Beisner having to defend against the rest of the field. Almost everybody behind him is within 1 second. Normally that would be a huge DRS train, but now it will not be. All the way down to 14th is almost within 1 second of one another. Jimmy Menard though struggling. Look like Mark Schluter really wants to get past there. And also Hugo von Bonn involves himself, rings on the doorbell of both of these drivers. Is he gonna go for a dive? Well, he's certainly trying on Jimmy Menard, but it's not working out. Jimmy Menard had to concede the position to Mark Schluter. There comes Hugo von Bonn on the inside. They're gonna go side by side in turn 1. Speed on the straights pretty much equal. Hugo von Bonn stays ahead, and actually does get ahead, I should say, but does get a pretty poor exit out of the corner. But that means Jimmy Menard has to go on the outside. That means you'll have the inside now in turn 4. Can he come back and retake P9? Not what he wants though. He started in 8th. Actually, yes he did actually start in 8th. He's now lost 2 positions. And there goes Hugo von Bonn properly, but the battle is still not over. Is he gonna go and redefend the position? Ivan Santamaria is getting closer as well. No, has to concede still. He also has to be aware of the charging drivers behind. Look at that, there's Jeremy Gallonier on Isaac Lead for 12th position. Of course, this is not for the fight of the lead, but it's definitely a fascinating battle to watch, because these positions are worth points as well. And every point is going to count, especially if you're considered to be one of the favorites for the title with ZNT and CPI as well. Elephant now far behind, so a nightmare start for CPI. Not a great start for ZNT either, but the race is still very long. Longer than usual actually, because it's raining and the cars of course go around much slower in these conditions. No DRS either. It's a lap 4. Normally you would have seen these front wing open. Blackberry defending from Maxim Rusovishki. And Istvan Tamashi. There comes Istvan Tamashi with a daring move on the inside for 17th place. Now these are non-point positions, but it's still a fascinating battle to watch. Istvan thinks he's fast. So he would like to get past and make a charge to the rest of the field. Blackberry, though, not allowing it, nor is Maxime. Lap 5 now. Gabriel Contino, in the meanwhile, has moved past Lucas Beisner and takes second position. Unfortunately, we missed this one. There's a lot going on. So forgive me if I miss a battle here and there. I saw there Jeremy Gallagher and Isaac Leeds fighting side by side. Isaac Leeds is taking the position from Jeremy Gallagher. This is not Isaac Leeds. This is Isaac Leeds. And it looks like Isaac is safely ahead. There is Ricardo Kroner as well. He's going to make a move on the Ferrari 2. Now he's gained 2 positions since the race start. Isaac Leeds and Ivan Santamaria still side by side, giving each other just enough room and race space to make sure they can continue this battle properly and cleanly. And Ivan has retaken 11th place for the time being. You can already see several groups beginning to form. They're 2nd, 3rd and 4th near one another. Then Benny Fabos, Pascal Sangbal, Gabriel Petresi, 5th, 6th and 7th, close together as well. Then there's a lone Mark Schluter. There's also a very lonely Ryan Grob, but I'm sure he won't mind that at all. Look at this, 3 wide then, potentially. That was Gabriel Petresi nearly getting sandwiched by the Williams and the Mercedes. Where is he going to go? Where is he going to make the move? Try and go around the outside there of Benny Fabos. Can he make it stick though? This corner is really tricky to overtake without pushing one or the other driver off the track. It looks like they're doing quite cleanly there. Incredible battling so far without any big incidents. I'm very impressed with the racing quality of these drivers. The racecraft, I should say. That was the word I was looking for. They're doing an extraordinary job at it. Lighty still pressurizing Lucas Beisner for 3rd position. I think we there saw Mark Schluter gaining another position. He's now only 1 place behind where he started. Now normally I would show you the tires, but I can simply tell you they're all intermediates. And they're all just as old as one another, except for Elephant, because he had to go into the pit, meaning his tires are 1 lap fresher. No surprises there then. As far as I know, there's not going to be any dry moments in this race. We can see a slightly dry line forming. But the game's physics will not allow for the drivers to go to any slick tires. So it will be intermediates all the way. And I'm curious if they could actually do it without a single pit stop, because these intermediates will be quite shot by the end of it. I wonder who's going to be daring enough to make a pit stop and catch up to the rest of the field again. Of course, pit stops on this track are really, really long. One of the longest and slowest pit lanes in all of the F1 calendar. Mark Schluter with Benny Fabos in the meanwhile. Coming out of the final corner, Gabriel Contino is putting in fastest lap after fastest lap. Now 37.8. And he's slowly closing the gap to the race leader. Gabriel Contino is also shaking off Lucas Beisner. Slowly but surely. And Lucas doesn't want that. He wants to follow with him, so he can at least help out his teammate should the battle for P1 go. Oh, there goes Gabriel Petresi with a daring move. I'm not sure if Benny Fabos saw it coming. With Gabriel there, gets a little bit more grip. Pushing Benny Fabos a little bit wide, but not off track, that's for sure. And in the meanwhile, the fight for P3 is definitely on now. Lucas Beisner losing another position. Down to 4th. Lighty up to 3rd. And that means the top 3 consists of 3 different teams. And that's what you like to see. It looks like 3 strong teams then. At least for the race, for the first race of this season. TF10, FVR and TTM all doing very well. Meanwhile, Mark Schluter getting closer to Pascal Sangbile. Pascal himself 2.2 seconds behind Lucas Beisner. Now, interestingly, all 3 from Germany. It won't really matter to them. What matters to them right now is their team, not their country. Because this is not a sort of Nations League, in a way. Back to the battle for 3rd place. Can Lucas Beisner claw back at Lighty? Or is Lighty simply too fast right now? We can see the gap between 1st and 2nd shrinking even more. Gabriel taking the fastest lap from Ryan Grob. He's taken 3 tenths from him. The gap was 2.2 the last lap. It's 1.8, 1.9-ish on this lap. We're in at lap 8. If you've just tuned in, Ryan Gropp still leads from Gabriel Quintino. Gabriel is slowly catching the TF10 car. As you can see him right here. The gap is not that big anymore. And Ryan might start getting a reason to worry a little bit. Elephant then with a 3-second time penalty. It's not going well. It's getting even worse for the CPI team. Not to mention the fact that he doesn't have a team tag. And we all know the rules in this series at least are very, very strict. Whoa, there goes Ivan Santamaria. Trying to get past Jimmy Menard. Nearly losing control of the car. Allowing Isaac Lee to rejoin the battle. He nearly loses control of the car twice now. And Isaac Lee gets back past up to 11th. These cars are glued together. They can't seem to shake each other off. Jeremy Gallagher stays behind. But I don't think he would mind to get past very soon. And then tow himself and his teammates along to push for higher positions. This is not where ZNT wants to be. Especially after a blistering qualifying night. They were not the quickest, but at least they were very strong. Whoa, Ivan Santamaria pushing Jeremy Gallagher very wide. And now he wants to retake the position still, but it looks like Jeremy Gallagher now has got the upper hand. Ricardo Kroner also knocking on the door pretty much. Sitting behind for now, but Ivan loses a position. Now down by 3. The battling was hard. Maybe a bit too hard for the likes of Jeremy. But we'll find out what happens to this situation here. Gabriel is cooking right now. Maximilian Luckett says in the chat, and he absolutely is. Let's just hope he doesn't cook his tires alongside it. Because he's pushing hard. He shrunk the gap by another 0.4 of a second since the last time we checked. And Lucas Beisner has not given up on 3rd position yet. He's also starting to close the gap to Lighty. Lighty is definitely has not gotten rid of Lucas Beisner just yet. TF10 so far. They have gotten off to a dream start. We're leading 1 and 2. Now they're 1 and 4. That would still be more than enough to lead the team championship. The gap between Ryan and Gabriel now down to 1 second. Lighty not too far behind either. The fight for the lead is definitely starting to come on now. We're not even halfway in. And Gabriel's now within 1 second. Now normally he would get DRS, but he won't. Whoa, Ricardo Kroner just took Ivan Santamaria's place. Nearly went too wide, lost a little bit of speed. But Ivan stays behind. Too far back to make a proper move. And diving on the inside there at turn 16 usually doesn't work out well. More fastest laps coming in. Now Jeremy Gallagher with the fastest lap of the race, since he now has gotten past those cars. Behind, he was stuck behind Ivan Santamaria. I believe even Ricardo Kroner for a little while. Now he's right behind his teammate. Let's see if these two will swap positions. Since Jimmy Menard now knows Jeremy is quicker. There's a little bit of a gap behind. Look at this then. Jeremy Gallagher pretty much in the gearbox of his own teammate. And I don't think Jimmy is going to fight this one. Of course he isn't. He knows Jeremy is quicker. He will now try to follow him as much as best as possible. Jeremy now up to 11th. Is this going to be the charge that ZNT needs? I mean, P5 is not that far away. Mark Schluter is driving around right there. They're following in the second group behind P5. Pascal Senkbeil in that first group. Hugo van Bon. Gabriel Petresi hovering somewhere in between. And look at this then. Gabriel Quintino, Ryan Gropp is going to have to defend. Where is Gabriel Quintino going to go? He's cooling his tires a little bit. Not sure what Ryan Gropp was doing there. He might have made the defensive move already. But Gabriel Quintino now all over the back of the Red Bull. Of the TF10 car. Ryan Gropp under pressure. He led comfortably for a few laps. 2.5 seconds was the biggest gap he could create. Now all he can do is defend as hard as he can. In the meanwhile, Lighty and Lucas Beisner are getting closer and closer as well. Ryan Gropp's pace appears to have disappeared a little bit. Jeremy Gallagher, fastest of the lot again. He's now up to 10th. He's already overtaken Isaac Lead. Jimmy Menard stays behind the CPI car for now. So what's going to happen then? Ryan Gropp dives to the inside immediately. Gabriel Cantino appears to have more straight line speed. Where is he going to go? Ryan Gropp back to the outside to make the corner happen. This allows Lighty and Lucas Beister to get closer and closer. And look at this. 4 cars now fighting for victory. 2 TF10 cars, 1 FVR car, 1 TTM. A 3-way team battle for victory. Lucas Beister, of course, is not going to fight for the win right now unless his teammate gets overtaken. But he would love to get back past Lighty to harass Gabriel Cantino. Look at this, look at the difference in pace through the corners especially. Has Ryan Gropp then cooked his tires instead of Gabriel? By pushing too hard too early in the race. Maybe that lead was because he pushed too hard. Look at this now then. He has to go defensive once more. Where's Gabriel Cantino gonna go? He can't go anywhere. The absence of DRS is being felt here by the Mercedes driver. He's gonna try around the outside in turn 16, but Ryan's defense is quite strong. Even though he doesn't have the speed advantage anymore, he definitely has got the defensive advantage for sure. And Ryan Gropp is doing a solid job. There's no other way of putting it. Meanwhile, oh, we've got a yellow flag. That's Hugo van Boon out of the race. First big crash. There he is on the gravel. We've got a full-on safety car. And that will give Ryan Gropp a little bit of relief. It came at the perfect moment for him because I'm sure Gabriel Cantino would have gotten past in the next 2 or 3 laps. And Hugo van Boon is the first big incident I've actually seen on this game in my commentating career so far this year on F1 24. And the first safety car I've actually seen. The first safety car then this season as well on Silverstone already. And to be fair, with these conditions, it would have been inevitable. Everybody will be in, says Danny Cohen in the chat. And I think you're going to be absolutely right, because the leader, of course, was able to get out in front of the safety car, as of course will everybody else. This is a good opportunity for Givaudan and Elephant to get back to the field. It's what they needed, but Elephant's got a big row of penalties already. Let's see. That's, I believe, is 6 seconds. And Gabriel's got a drive-through. A nightmare then for ABS. One driver out, the other with a drive-through that he can only serve when the safety car is back in. ABS will then be without points. One of the veteran teams off to a pretty bad start now. They were doing well with Gabriel at the very least. And the accident with Hugo van Boon happened when Jeremy Gallonier and Isaac Lead were trying to get past, or at least Jeremy Gallonier. Saw it happening on the timing screen. I was too late to switch to it because, of course, the battle for first place was heating up quite a lot despite the rain. And there they all go, as predicted. It's going to be a busy pit lane. And Lucas Beisner is going to suffer from the double stack. Will he lose position though? He's got about 1.7 seconds to Mark Schluter. Will it be enough? He's getting held up a little bit. Looks like it's not that bad. Is he going to come out behind Mark Schluter? Let's find out. Excitement in the pit lane. What's it going to be for Lucas Beisner? Oh, Blackberry couldn't break in time. Gets a 10-second penalty. Mark Schluter gets ahead of Lucas Beisner. Bad news then for TF10. Great news for ET8. They find themselves within a stone's throw of the podium now. With one car. Istvan Tamashi has been on the charge as well. From what I've seen so far, his best performance yet in this game. At least from what I've seen. He's now in 16th. And he's very close to points. So ET8, at least for now, doing quite a nice job. Let's, now the things are calming down. I have a little bit of a look at the state of the team's points. TF10, points-wise, doing the best. FVR, of course, also had to double stack, meaning Benny Fabos has fallen back to 9th place behind Isaac Lead. Of course, that was inevitable. He had no choice but to come in. Had he stayed out, it would have lost a lot more time with intermediates that were 12 laps older. Not what you want. He's already getting quite feisty out there behind the safety car. So Benny will have to restart his charge. He started 2nd, now in 7th. Actually started ahead of his teammate. Qualifying pace, he was slightly better. Race pace. Gabriel appears to have the upper hand. Let's see, TTM 3rd and 6th place. Also quite a lot of points for them. FVR then 2nd and 9th now. But I think Benny Fabos will be able to make up some positions, as I think he'll be at least faster than Isaac and Gabriel. He was about as fast as Pascal Sankbeil. Lucas Beisner is now going to be stuck behind Mark Schluter. Oh, dearie me. Blackberry now gets a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag. Or is that actually going to be one of those things? No, he actually does get 10 seconds on his name alongside the other 10 seconds. He's able to get rid of one of the penalties now. He then got another for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not sure how he managed to cause that one. But that means he'll still be 10 seconds down. Because as it stands right now, although Elephant is coming in as well, I think the safety car might stay out for another lap, since Elephant and Blackberry are now quite far behind. Istvan Tamashi also having shift problems. Oh, dearie me. Nothing is working out for him this season, isn't it? Or this game, at least. So unlucky. Such a shame, because he's really quick. I'm sure we'd all like to see him fighting at the front again, at least being together with his teammate Mark. Mark sitting in 4th, started in 6th of course. You can see the podium ahead, but I feel like the battle for the win is going to be between Ryan, Gabriel and Lighty. And potentially Lucas if he can get past Mark quickly, but you never really know. Maybe things are changing with this safety car. Jeremy P1 charge incoming. He's 14th. If he can make it work, I'll be very impressed. He was at least the fastest on track before the safety car came out. He was zooming past cars ever since he had managed to gotten past Ivan Santamaria. Unfortunately, Ivan Santamaria is now ahead of him again. Because of course also the 70 team also had to double stack. And Jimmy Menard was ahead when the safety car came out, I think. Jeremy was in a tangle with Hugo. He says, thanks guys, well done in the Discord. So there was some contact then. But with who? We'll find out if he reports it. There we go, it's confirmed. Safety car staying out one more lap. And that should be enough for Elephant to catch up. He's now got the freshest tires of the field along with Blackberry. There's Jivodar, who lost connection to the big group as well. Let's see if he can do something. Ricardo Kroner doing quite a decent job keeping EVE in the points. No team is going home without points if it stays like this. TGF is in 13th with Christian Lubinov. His teammate Blackberry, of course, in second to last position. Elephant is pretty much back within distance of the rest. And that means that the race will recommence at lap 16. And that means 11 laps remain. 11 laps of fighting for the win between Ryan Grob and Gabriel Quintino. Now that both have fresh tires, will Ryan disappear in the distance once again? Or will Gabriel keep the pressure on? Because I feel like Ryan's tires were pretty much dying off a little bit after his brilliant charge at the start of the race, where he built that gap, might have pushed it too hard. Gabriel was all over him. The safety car came as the saving grace for him. Safety car in this lap then, as predicted. Ryan Gropp now leads the field. It will be a while until the safety car comes in. He still has to go through turn 15. But Ryan Gropp is leading the field. All 19 remaining cars. Hugo van Bon crashed out of the final corner on the start-finish line pretty much. His RB car was. ABS on the back foot with Gabriel Petresi with a drive-through penalty. He'll be moving out of the way. Hopefully the cars from behind. Ryan Gropp is not going yet. When is he gonna go? That's the question. I think he's going now. He sees a gap forming already, but Gabriel Quintino gets a decent exit, so he doesn't fall too far behind. The race has recommenced. Lap 16, 11 laps remain to see and find out who comes out as the winner. There's a bit of a glitch, as you can see here on the spectator screen. It still says safety car, but that's not the case, so no worries. Ivan Santamaria straight goes for it. Takes Ricardo Kroner's place. Oh, Ricardo plowing his front wing into the back of the Aston Martin. But Ivan stays ahead, goes up to 11th. Back to the front of the field. Gabriel Quintino has already closed the gap that Ryan created the race restart. Lighty is with them as well. Mark Schluter is already starting to lose connection. Lucas Beisner wants to get past ASAP. Pascal Senkbeil still in with a shot. Gabriel Petresi is still there, but he has to serve his drive-through, so he'll be moving out of the way soon. That allows Isaac Lead, Benny Fabos and all the drivers behind to move up another position. Let's see what's going to happen. Who's going to come out best? Ryan Gropp is all under pressure. He's throwing his car through the corner right there. Doing everything he can to stay ahead of the charging Mercedes. The quick bull versus the charging arrow. How long is he going to hold up this defense? Without DRS it's slightly easier. With one mistake and the lead will be gone. There goes Gabriel Petresi for the drive-through penalty. Allowing several, or actually all of the drivers to get past. Gabriel Quintino with the fastest lap immediately. 35.0. That's a whole lot faster than before the safety car. It's still raining. The dry tires are definitely out of the question. The track is still way too wet. And meanwhile, in the timing screens, I can also see Isaac Lead pressurizing Pascal Senkbeil for 6th position. Lucas Beisner is losing connection to Mark Schluter. Mark Schluter is still within the fight for the win. He's pressurizing Lighty for that final podium place. Lucas Beisner has lost his pace actually. He was fighting with Lighty for that victory. Now he's fallen behind more than a second. He cannot follow, at least not yet. 10 laps to go, or 9.5 pretty much by this point. Lighty finds himself pressurizing Gabriel Quintino now. Gabriel left a little bit of a gap. Maybe to give himself a bit of breathing room. The engine, the tires. When is he gonna go make the move? Whoa, nearly went too wide. That allows Lighty to close in even more. This is the perfect opportunity for Lighty to make the move. Using the slipstream, some extra battery perhaps. But it looks like it's not going to be enough. Gabriel's very fast on the straights, as you can see. But through the corners, Gabriel's now starting to struggle a little bit. Lighty is still very close to taking that second place, but he still has to look in his rearview mirrors. Mark Schluter is still there as well. Ricardo Kroner fighting with Jimmy Menard, and meanwhile for 10th position, he takes that place. He follows Ivan Santamaria, Jeremy Gallagher from 14th now up to 12th. He's on the charge as well. Mark Schluter now pressurizing Lighty. They're all taking turns, putting pressure on one another it seems. But it looks like Mark Schluter is gonna go for the move. Has Lighty seen it coming? I think he saw it just in time. Now he finds himself on a pretty bad exit. Can Mark Schluter make it work then? They both now lose connection to the top two. And there he goes. Mark Schluter for ET8 moves up in 3rd position. And the team, I'm sure, will be cheering. He started in P6. He wasn't able to follow for the lead of the race on the first half before the safety car. Now, though, he's definitely in for a shot if he can close that gap again. He's opened it thanks to his attack on Lighty, but he had no choice. He saw he was faster. He went for it. Lighty gave him enough room. And there he went. 1 second to close to Gabriel Quintino, who's still trying to chase down Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb seems to have a little bit of an easier time now that his tires are fresh, defending from Gabriel apart from the first few laps. Looks like he, at least for now, is having it under control. But again, any mistake he makes will be a deadly one, a fatal one potentially. We're entering lap 19. There's a bit of a group that's fallen behind with BlackBerry leading it once again. 3 cars, they're fighting for positions. Givadar and Elephant side by side. Elephant will be all too happy. He can finally fight with some other cars. Whoa, but that was quite the dangerous going on there. Givadar getting pushed off. There's no points to be paid for this position. The only points paid position is getting away from them right now. Jimmy Menard and Jeremy Gallonier. Oh, there's one of the Mercedes there. It's Benny Fabos. A nightmare for him. What has happened to Benny Fabos? The dream for FVR just kind of snapped in half. With Gabriel still in the charge and Benny now in 14th. And no longer in the front group. He either lost control of his own car or he got into contact with somebody. I do not know. But this is not where he wants to be. That's suboptimal. That's the understatement of the night, Maximilian. We also see a yellow flag for a slow going Aston Martin. That's Maxim Ruzewski. Not sure what happened there. Was he involved in that incident too then? We will not know, at least for now. We're watching other battles, unfortunately. Both go wide. Oh dear. Maxime gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Gabriel Patrese is ahead of him. We go to lap 20. Ryan Grubb still leads. Gabriel still gives chase. The top 4. And actually top 5. Top 6 actually within 1 second of one another. 6 cars fighting for the win. 2 teams have both cars within this group. TTM and TF10 are more strongly represented than ET8 and FVR. FVR has lost their second driver. He finds himself in 14th and struggling to keep up with the second group. Isaac Lead also has let go. He finds himself pretty much alone, which is also suboptimal, I have to say. Ooh, Jimmy Menard, not good news there for ZNT. 3-second time penalty for him. Jeremy Gallonier all over the back of Ricardo Kroner to enter within the top 10. I don't think his charge is going to be enough to go for the lead of the race, but he's definitely showing his speed once again. His qualifying was not ideal. He was struggling in the race up until a certain point where he was suddenly flying. Then the safety car came out. I'm sure that if the safety car didn't come out, he would have been much higher up. Gabriel Quintino was within 2/10 for the moment. Now they come out of turn 14. It looks like the slipstream is not powerful enough to get him past the Red Bull. Still in second place. He'll be frustrated by this point. He wants to get past, or maybe he's just saving up all of his battery until the very last lap. We might see a last take happening here, if we have to judge it by his pace. Ryan Grubb is going defensive on every straight. He knows Gabriel's got the speed to stay with him. Mark Schluter is now starting to struggle a little bit to stay with the top 2. Gabriel Quintino now awfully close. Is he going to go for a move on the inside of turn 4? Ryan defends the inside. Gabriel's forced to the outside. Now Gabriel or Ryan, who gets the worst exit. Ryan manages to stay ahead for the time being. Goes defensive straight away. Gabriel still gaining on him. Where is he going to go for it? He still stays behind. He couldn't send it. He was a bit too far back and he wants to be careful. He knows his teammate has fallen behind. If he falls behind as well, the nightmare for FVR will be complete. That's not what they want. Gabriel Quintino moving to the outside. Ryan doing it at the last possible moment. Gabriel's all over the place. Mark Schluter and Lighty have reconnected. Thanks to this fighting going on right here. Mark and Lighty are still within a shot of the victory as well. If these two tangle, Mark will take the spoils. That's not what Ryan and Gabriel want. Thank you for confirming. Oh, there we go. There he goes. Gabriel Contino after a long charge. But Ryan takes more speed through the corner. And somehow still manages to stay ahead. That was the ultimate defensive move. But there goes Gabriel Contino into turn 15. Will they come together? No, they won't. But Ryan is still ahead somehow. Whoa, Gabriel Contino nearly losing it. Coming into the final corner. Mark Schluter now putting Gabriel under pressure. 3 cars fighting for the win. Lighty is patiently waiting behind. As he gets closer and closer to Mark Schluter. There he goes once again. Gabriel's gone full send mode in the final few laps. Ryan Grupp is doing all he can to defend against the Mercedes. They tangle wheel to wheel. There comes Mark Schluter on the inside. And he takes Gabriel's position. He moves up in 2nd place. All of a sudden, Mark is there. As I said, he's going to take the spoils. At least he's now taking it from Gabriel Contino. Gabriel wants to have none of it. Tries to get back at the inside, but it doesn't work. Maximilian not having fun from this. I can't imagine if you're one of the FVR guys, but I'm definitely having a lot of fun watching this. Lighty still within a shot of the podium as well. Lucas Beisner, he wants to help out his teammate, but there's still 3 other cars in between himself and Ryan Grubb. Lap 22, there's still several laps to go. Mark Schluter now all of a sudden in 2nd place. He came out of nowhere. And he's now having a lovely day. When is the next move going to happen? It's settled down a little bit once again. And it looks like Mark is getting feisty. Now he tastes victory. 4 more laps to go. Lap 23 included. It's still anybody's game. Giffardar gets past Elephant for 16th. No points to be handed out there. But this is the fight we're focusing on. And don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the timing screen. If this thing settles down, I'll be watching the other battles for sure. But this is the exciting battle because it's for the win. And that, of course, does get prioritized everywhere. Gabriel now stuck behind the Haas. Ryan Grubb feels a little bit more safe. Oh, there goes Benny Fabos again, I believe. I saw a bit of a yellow flag. He falls behind a bit more. At least he will still score points. But it's not ideal. Oh, Gabriel's now starting to struggle. There's Lighty all over the back of the Mercedes now. Is Gabriel Contino going to fall away from the podium with Lighty approaching fast? They're all weaving, defending, trying to cut up the slipstream, break the toe. Any defensive move that they can do, they will do. Now Lighty is on the charge. Gabriel sliding through the corners. Ryan Grubb going defensive as he always does. On the straights. 6 cars follow one another. Pascal Sangbiles within a second as well. A bit further back in 7th is Isaac Leet. Who is going to do it? Benny Fabos' day gets even worse. 3 seconds added to his name now. Jeremy Gallagnier leads the second big group in 8th position. He's got 3 seconds to Isaac Leet. He started in 14th after the safety car restart, so he's doing a great job of saving some points and saving the face of ZNT. Jimmy Menard, of course, still within the points as well, but he's got a 3-second time penalty. He will drop down to 13th if his Fantamashi stays within range. That will be also good news for ET8. They've got a car in 2nd and potentially fighting for the win. Well, potentially he is actually fighting for the win. 3 laps to go. Gabriel Contino on the inside because there's Lighty and he touches the Mercedes. Not sure what happened there. Did Gabriel cross him? He's still behind. Will there be damage to the front wing? There's Lucas Beisner now all over the back of the Williams. Has Lighty just lost his podium chance? He goes wide. That almost confirms then that there's going to be some damage. Some damage for Lighty. And he loses connection to the top 3. Lucas Beisner wants to get past ASAP. But he needs to do it very quick now. There will be 2 more laps to go. There's Pascal Senkbeil. Lucas Beisner, is he going to go for it? Yes, he's certainly going to go for it. But Lucas Beisner carries more speed. The top 6 are at war. Safe to say that. Yep, points all the way down to P15. So the last guy will getting points is Blackberry. Down there in 15th place. In a lonely 15th place, I have to say. And it looks like Lighty is struggling to keep up through the corners. He'll be having slight damage. I think the tap was hard enough. We can't see it visually. But I'm sure it will be there on his information screen. Lighty in trouble then. But thanks to the fighting ahead, he's still able to keep up. He will be having a slight advantage on the straights and a slight disadvantage in the corners. Mark Schluter closing in on Ryan Grob. Will he be the man to do it then? He gets a better entry. An equal exit, but it looks like Ryan Grob, once again through the entries, is struggling a little bit. Can he hold on though? Last time he barely held it against Gabriel Contino. Nearly lost the lead to him as well. Gabriel now on the back foot. He's losing connection to the top 2. Lighty is staying with him. There goes Lucas Beisner on Lighty with a brilliant move through Maggots and Beckett. We almost missed it on camera. And Lighty is definitely struggling, as you can see. I think he's gonna let Pascal back through. Or actually, he's going to let him through. Pascal wasn't ahead of him. Not sure if they are communicating with one another. In the meanwhile, Mark Schluter is really nearly onto the gearbox. Ryan Grubb is going to go for the move on the inside. He's going to go for it. It's all or nothing for Mark Schluter. Ryan Grubb is going to go defensive all the way. Pushes him wide, forces him up a little bit. And we approach the final lap. Mark Schluter still on the tail. Gabriel Contino, thanks to this battle, back in business. It's still a 3-way fight and potentially more than that. Mark Schluter now all over the back of Ryan Grob. Side by side he goes into turn 3. Is he going to make the move stick? He is going to make it stick. After a race-long defense, Mark Schluter has finally broken it. And he's the first one to properly do so. Can Ryan Grob still come back? Mark Schluter has done it now. Gabriel Contino is charging Ryan Grob right there. Is he going to go for a move? Ryan is closing the gap. It's still not over yet. He will have the slipstream disadvantage, Mark Schluter, because the other cars are still so close behind him. Mark Schluter leads by about a car's length. It's not a lot. And Ryan Grob is closing and closing and closing, and he can't get past here. But he might have burned a bit too much battery. Maybe Mark has saved it all for the last straight. Here comes Ryan Grob. Almost gets past him. He tries to force Mark into a mistake. Not physically, hopefully. Oh, there we go. Mark got a back exit. There comes Ryan Grob, side by side. It's a 2-way fight for the win. Gabriel still within a shot as well. He's closing and closing. 3-way fight for the win. Mark stays ahead. Ryan on the inside. Gabriel Contino tries. Oh, he slides to the outside. And there comes Lucas Beister out of nowhere, grabbing the position from him. Gabriel wants it back. Dives on the inside, but he can't make it work. And he slides literally off the podium. Mark Schluter then, he has taken the spoils and wins the opening race of Season 4 in CSS. What a race, with Ryan Grob coming in second, Lucas Beister instead slid of the podium, coming out of the final few corners. Wow. Incredible. Mark Schluter. What a race. He's done everything right. The safety car was his moment. And he's done it. He's won it. The first race goes to Team ET8. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? And of course, yeah, deservedly driver of the day. Started 6th, finished 1st. With an absolute brilliant set of overtakes to make it work. He was at the right place, at the right time. Everything for him worked out perfectly. And he's a very deserved winner. All of them would have been a very deserved winner. Had Ryan won, he would have had a masterclass of defense. He just let the defense go on lap 25 against Mark Schluter. He held it against Gabriel. He couldn't hold it against Mark. And Mark takes the champagne. Here confirming then the winner, Mark Schluter, winner of this race. Ryan Grob then finishing second after a race-long defense. Lucas Meissner completing the podium and a very strong finish for TF10. They'll be leading the team championship, that's for sure. Gabriel Quintino will be very disappointed with 4th, but he will be having the fastest lap of the race. Lighty in P5 together with Pascal Sankba in 6th place. They'll be satisfied with that one. A lot of points for them. Isaac Lead finishing in 7th. Ivan Santamaria brilliantly in 8th. Ricardo Kroner for EVE, well done in 9th place. Strong race from him. Jimmy Menard in 10th. Well, I believe that should be Jeremy Gallonier finishing a lot higher up there. He finished in 9th actually. Or in 8th in fact. And the rest of the field looking like this. Let's see if any of the drivers are up for an interview. I would very much like to hear from them. I should not try and press my caps lock. Instead, I should try and press my shift button. Works a lot better usually when you try to add a driver. Interviews, if you like. Let's join the commentary box, otherwise I will not be able to interview them. It's going to be a very big challenge for me. Wow. Now, I think we're all quite breathless. I think you all can agree with me on that one. It was very intense. It was absolutely brilliant, though. A lovely race from all of the drivers. Only one big incident with Hugo van Bon. Let's see if the FIA has got something to say about that. Of course, Gabriel slid wide. Not sure if that was because of contact with Ryan. And then Lucas took the spoils. So let's find out what happens with that. Unfortunately, Lucas cannot do an interview. I believe Ryan has said, yeah, why not, to my question. So waiting for him to join the waiting room. And then we yet had Mark Schluter, whether he wants to have an interview or not. So let's find out. I do hope he will join for an interview, because he must be very happy indeed. I see somebody else joining the waiting room. That's not somebody I was expecting. Let's see if I can actually... I'll just share the link, see if it helps. I mean, the waiting room is quite far down. It has helped because Ryan Grob has joined. So let's drag Ryan Grob in here, because that was an intense race, wasn't it, Ryan?
It was indeed. I mean, the first half was quite boring and lifting every single corner because we made a misjudgment on the fuel.
Mm-hmm.
So safety car was good, helped, and then I could push the second half, and then bit aggressive with the moves, but just hard racing. And yeah, I enjoyed that. Decent drive. 8 inters, very boring race, but P2 is always a good finish, and P3, of course, P2 and P3 in a team event is always great.
Yeah, it's a very strong finish for the team indeed, because Lucas took a last gasp podium for the team as well. There were many moments in the race which probably made your heart drop a little bit, but which one was the scariest for you?
It's actually a good question. Probably, I don't know. I'm getting used to just sliding out of every second corner. I think it was Mark going on my inside on the penultimate lap into the chicane, because I knew if he goes straight, then I'd not only lose one position, but I'd lose a lot more. And I knew if he gets past, then there's probably no chance I can get past, because I was running a bit higher wing as well.
Yeah.
So him making the mistake out of, I think it's Beckett's or Chapel on the last lap, gave me an opportunity, but I did not have the straight line speed as I expected. And then Gabriel almost got me, but I think there was again a close call. But yeah, I got used to drifting on exits, so it's not even that scary anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel didn't manage to get past. Mark did. I mean, what was the difference between their attack strategies, do you think?
I don't know. I think I could have gone more defensive, but I didn't expect him to send it there. And then I did hang on. So like, I don't. I think he overtook me at turn 3 on the last lap. I think, right? And then
Yeah,
I think
somewhere turn
we
3,
locked
4.
we locked tires. Otherwise, I could have gone around the outside. I think that's what I did with Gabriel when he went up the inside. I just swooped around the outside. But I turned into his rear left, and then I lock. So basically, we just go both of us just go straight. So I lose the position. Think I could have obviously gone more defensive. Um, but yeah, it's just a minor thing. I don't mind too much. Bit of a mistake on my side, but tire locking on this game is just once it happens, you can't escape it. So glad I didn't go straight and lose more positions.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Last question. Did you expect as a team to be this far up the field?
I mean, in quali, we did know about the slipstream. Our lap times really weren't great. Well, they were pretty decent. I mean, what was it, 1-3, I think?
Yeah,
1-3
1-3.
is
Yeah, something like
good.
that. Yeah.
We did like 15 laps of race practice in the dry, zero inter practice. So we weren't delighted seeing was inters, but pace seemed to be more than fine. So yeah, it would have been interesting if I would have had enough fuel and without the safety car, because I got a great grab in the first few laps. But then I noticed the fuel and then I was lifting like every corner. So thankful for the safety car. But yeah, it's a good start. I think many people expect to see TF10s towards the front. And I hope we can keep it going in future races as well.
Yeah, Monza next week. So let's see what will happen there. Enjoy your second place and hopefully see you next time round.
Thanks, you too. I hope you enjoyed the race.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Very much so.
Bye bye. See you
Cheers.
next week.
Bye. Right, and we also have our race winner. Who would have thought, Mark Schluter, the first race of the season, and you come out on top. You started 6th, you finished 1st. When was the moment when you were thinking, now I'm gonna go for it?
Pretty much when the safety car hit, we had a back shot at it to fight for the win. And yeah, my pace was great. I think some guys in front of me after the safety car were struggling more. Yeah, very, very happy. Not quite often that I win in the F1 game, so it's very good result, I think.
Yeah, I'll be honest, me and much what the chat were thinking, the fight was going on between Ryan and Gabriel. But suddenly you were there, so how did you do it? What's the strategy? How did you think of the moves? Take us through the race for you.
Well, the start was kind of disappointing because I got shoved out a bit by one of the Mercedes guys, but yeah, fight it back to P5 and then try to catch the top 4, but the safety car then came out. I think would have been harder to catch the top 4 without the safety car, but yeah, thankfully the safety car came out. I mean, I don't know if all would have pitted if the safety car didn't come out. I think it was a non-stop then, but yeah, tough race. They kept me on my toes, the TF10 guys.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a great start for the team as well, isn't it? Because, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant to see. Next week we have Monza, an entirely different kind of track. How do you think your chances will be there, or for the team?
Well, we'll have to see. Kind of hoping that we don't get allowed to slipstream because it's Monza. Like everyone is gonna slipstream there, and I think that's it's not good to watch in my opinion if you have just your teammates driving around slipstreaming each other. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Right. Well, enjoy your win on the first race, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Cheers. All right. And that brings us pretty much to the end of this stream. What a race. I'm going to have to take a bit of a breather, but it was very much enjoyable. Very, very happy to be back here for the competitive speed series. You guys are happy to be back here as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch this race unfold. The last few laps, or actually the whole race, was absolutely breathtaking. A fight for the win all race long. The safety car, of course, helped Mark Schluter to the win, as he said himself. And he had the pace then. Ryan had to lift and coast for the fuel. That explained why he suddenly lost the 2.5 second gap. Otherwise, I think he might have pulled ahead a bit further than that and saved his own race. But second place, nonetheless, alongside Lucas Beisner in third, will be a strong start for TF10 indeed. They'll be leading the team championship because that's what counts. Let's have one more look at the calendar, because next week we'll have an entirely different sort of track. As I said, Monza in Italy will be upon us. Slipstream galore, if I can manage to get it out of my mouth.
That's Imola, by the way.
It's Imola, actually. I see.
You've said the wrong thing the entire time.
Oh,
Sorry
well.
for butting in, just wanted to make sure you knew.
So that maybe not Slipstream galore then. It will be a bit of a relief for the drivers as well. So it is going to be in Imola. Still a brilliant track, by the way. Absolutely lovely to watch. And definitely looking forward to see what happens there. Then, of course, followed by Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan, and then a mystery Grand Prix. Let's find out what that one is going to be. Still a little while away, though. For now, thank you so much for watching and being with me throughout this race. Once again, it's been a pleasure, as usual. Good to be back in business. Next week, same place, same time. And as always, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Until then, goodbye.